Disgusting, overlooked celebrity acts. According to Reddit. Number 15. Coco Chanel was a big supporter of the Nazi Party. That's pretty effed up right there. Coco Chanel was actually a member, says somebody responding, not just a supporter. She went into hiding following the war before re-emerging later to rebuild her empire. She also fired her entire staff when they demanded worker rights. That's ice cold, son. The idea that these workers come to you and maybe, just maybe, want a little bit of decency, want a little bit of human rights. But Nazi member Coco Chanel would say, the only rights you're getting are rights accompanied by lefts. I'm talking about punches. She gonna punch you in the mouth. Not today, workers. I will find people who will not need rights, because why should they have them? Well, you're telling me that a Nazi member was against worker rights? Number 14. Drake was on stage confirming that a girl that he was kissing and touching was below the legal age, and he kept going. Damn, baby. I didn't know it was like that. You gotta keep your hands off them titties, no matter how nice, if they're not the legal age. You're on stage? Not legal age? You're on stage? Someone responds, the interview with the main actress of Stranger Things regarding their relationship. It had really creepy groomer vibes. Do we even wanna get into this? Do we even wanna? Here we go. Boy, he also took a girl out on her 18th birthday whom he had been associated with for a long time before becoming an adult. Lots of red flags with that dude. I'd bet money that he'll be the next R. Kelly. You don't become the next R. Kelly. You always were R. Kelly deep down inside, you know? And that burns for me to say that, and it's coming from the heart. I know that's an Usher song, but it's been a long time coming, and we've been done fell apart. You know, I really want to work this out, but I don't think it's going to change. I better stop, boy. I think it's best we go our separate ways. Number 13, boy. Remember the Panama Papers? Yeah, that's still going on. Yeah, it's going to be going on until the day we die, man. People with money are going to find ways to, make that money stay theirs, And what does that mean? It means like if you and I had a couple $1 billion and we know that the government was coming for our money, we'd find some people and we'd pay them to keep this money so that they couldn't take the majority of it from us. Maybe, just maybe, we'd find some tax havens, figure some stuff out. It's really messed up. Some people, like the president, don't even care, bro. They just say, no, I'm not going to give you the money. What are you going to do about it? And lo and behold, nothing gets done about it. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff. Sucks that it has to go that way, though. Somebody says there's no consequence, so why would they stop doing it? This is what I'm saying, no consequence. Hello to everybody in the stream chatters, hoping you had a fantastic and wild day. This list is going to be over before you know it. It's just not meaty enough. It's not like Kyle, not girthy, not throbbing. Nothing's going on with this list. It's just thin. This list could use a burger. Am I weight shaming this list? No. But I guess when you have so much weight to go around, I'm going to smack my belly. Listen to this. Normally you have to pay for that, okay? But I don't have an OnlyFans, so you get it for free. As a matter of fact, here's the Discord link, so if you want notifications of when things like this are going on, I know you wouldn't want to miss it. If you're watching this and the stream is like, it's like already happened, you're probably kicking yourself that you couldn't be a part of Belly Slapping Kyle List live. Belly Slapping live. Let me just hit you with a link to the Discord. Oh my God, that's not a Discord link. It's a link to my Streamlabs for donations, but it's okay. Because I know you're not brave enough. I said it. Speaking of making money go away, man. Yeah, no. Somebody says, in response to the Panama Papers one, I work in corporate law, paralegal, not an attorney. The Panama Papers are business as usual for certain kinds of clients and certain kinds of law firms. Not clients or firms that I've ever worked for, but when the story broke, I looked into it and was like, yeah, this is just another day in offshore subsidiaries and holding companies with filings that make jurisdictions offering the utmost privacy. Tax havens. Should it be that way? No. These kinds of things are what we mean by broad general terms. Tax loopholes, tax shelters, boy. They are havens. Make that money disappear. Make it disappear. Make it disappear. How can you keep track of the money when it's going all over the place? Money might as well not even be mine anymore. Jeez, government, what are you going to do? You're going to waste time following the money? Number 12 says, today I learned all celebrities are terrible drivers. This isn't an entry. You're going to make me go back down for a real entry. Oh, sorry about this. Number 16, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin's guitarist, had a 14-year-old girlfriend, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Oh boy, isn't this the Steven Tyler story all over again? Uh-oh. That's what he said. There's a similar story with Steven Tyler. Yes, there is. And a juicy story it is indeed, but I don't have all the details. Somebody says Ted Nugent, too. He had a baby with a 16-year-old when he was like 30. You know, I just can't picture it, because I guess as a man that's into really, really big titties, these girls would have to look like they're 10 years older than they are. You know what I mean? They would just need to look like they're 10 years older than they are. So, I'm not saying that there aren't girls out there with rockin' bodies hotter than, 20-year-old chicks. I'm just saying, I'm not sure I get it. I'm not sure I get risking it. And, when you have money and or fame in this case, no different from having clout these days or a little bit of cash. I'm sure some of these chicks are lining up to, drop them trousers and pop them mouths open. But it's like, I don't know. Is it worth it when you know that some of these hoes these days will do anything for clout, including just, making shit up, saying that you abused them, saying that, you had your way with them. It's not worth it. The thing is, men like me, I guess, were trying to keep people a certain distance away from me before COVID, let alone now, boy. Yeah, crazy. 14-year-old girl, what kind of fucking broomstick body did she have going on? You know what I mean? And no disrespect. Some people are into different things. God damn. But you might as well be out here with a little boy. Chris Benoit is on this list. A lot of people too young for Chris Benoit at this point. Number 11, Chris Benoit is more known for the circumstances of his death. Long story short, he was a wrestler. He received too much chair shots to the head in his career, developed the brain of an 80-year-old man at barely 40 years old, had a breakdown, killed his wife, killed his son, and then himself. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Chris Benoit is, just imagine, my dude, that effectively out of nowhere, this wrestling dude just killed his whole family overnight. And they tried to scrub this dude's record off of the wrestling, it was just like, what the hell's going on with this guy? Did this girl just say Benoit balls? She only thinks that funny because Archer. Once they learned this, WWE tried to basically bury him and act like he never existed. This is what I'm saying. Despite the fact that he had an enormous main eventer, status back then. Everyone is aware of this, and it's often debated on whether or not Benoit was a victim or not. But then you have Jimmy Snuka over here, who killed his girlfriend in cold blood for seemingly no reason, and this motherfucker is in the Hall of Fame, and no one seems to care. That's messed up. Why is Jimmy Snuka allowed to be there? Somebody says Benoit's legacy is so complicated as a lifelong wrestling fan. Why does everybody need to make things complicated? Do you get what I'm saying? There are a lot of disgusting people out there, but it doesn't change their capacity when it comes to their craft. There are a lot of sleazy directors out there, but to say that their movies are anything short of like dope would be a lie, and people are lying to themselves. There are a lot of disgusting photographers, a lot of gross artists and weirdo musicians, my dude, but to say that what they make isn't dope is insane. I think Kanye is like a woman trapped in a man's body. He just thirsty for attention. You know what I mean? And he would destroy himself to get it. He is fucked in the head in a capacity where it's not genius seeping out, my dude. It's not genius stuck in a world that he can't understand. This dude's just properly fucking crazy. And if he didn't have all of that money, he would have landed himself in serious goddamn trouble on thousands of occasions. But for me to say that this dude isn't capable of sitting his pussy ass behind a microphone and putting out some fucking music that is definitely enjoyable and is a demonstration and execution of his talent, that would be just a lie on my part. This guy is capable. Just like many of these crazy ass directors, many of these sicko freaking Hollywood douchebags, they can make something that is definitely good within their field as a testament to their craft. And hey, if it's their freaking, WWE Hall of Fame or whatever, and they want to scrub this guy's name clean, dope. But if he was a dope ass wrestler and got these things, he earned these things, just because he did this fucking thing, it doesn't mean that all of that is erased. He's still that good a wrestler. He's still whatever he accomplished. And I'm not defending, him staying in whatever Hall of Fame or whatever like that. It's just the idea that people can make a legacy disappear or something. I ain't got nothing to do with it though. That's the truth. Number 10 on this list. Matthew Broderick killed 2 people in a reckless driving accident and only paid £200 to get out of it. Matthew Broderick. Haven't heard that name in a long time. Imagine killing 2 people and then being able to get away with it. It's doing that thing where it takes me to Bing again. I just want to die. Wait, isn't Matthew Broderick the douche that was in Ferris Bueller then? Matthew Broderick. Meh. Yeah. So how about, what if I write kills? Matthew Broderick kills on August 5th, 1987 while driving a rented BMW in northern... Oh my god, you alright? Sorry, that's the ghost of Matthew Broderick trying to get me. Just kidding, he's not dead. On August 5th, 1987. Damn, that's before we were born, motherfuckers. While driving a rented BMW, Northern Ireland, Broderick crossed into the wrong lane and collided head-on with a Volvo. The driver, Anna Gallagher, and the mother, Margaret Doherty, were both killed instantly. You were in the wrong lane. You were in the wrong lane. Talk about dirty dancing. Sorry, I just read the dirty dancing star part. Celebrities, boy, they got the money to just get away with everything. Imagine paying £200 for 2 people that you killed. Look, I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys later. I hope this money, it takes the edge off. I hope this money takes the edge off. Ugh, Celebrities suck, boy. Number 9. Literally anything that Chris Brown has ever done fits here. Well, Chris Brown got a legacy, don't he? You know what I'm talking about? The police report regarding Chris Brown and Rihanna. Chris Brown and Rihanna have been involved in a dating relationship for approximately 1 year and 1.5 years. On Sunday, February 8th, 2009, Brown was driving a vehicle with Rihanna as the front passenger on an unknown street in Los Angeles. Rihanna picked up Brown's cellular telephone and observed a 3-page text message from a woman who Brown had a previous sexual relationship. A verbal argument ensued, and Brown pulled the vehicle over on an unknown street, reached over Rihanna with his right hand, opened the car door, and attempted to force her out. Brown was unable to force Rihanna out of the vehicle because she was wearing a seatbelt. When he could not force her to exit, he took his right hand and shoved her head against the passenger window of the vehicle, causing an approximate 1-inch raised circular contusion. Rihanna turned to face Brown, and he punched her in the left eye with his right hand. He then drove away in the vehicle and continued to punch her in the face with his right hand while steering the vehicle with his left hand. The assault caused Rihanna's mouth to fill with blood, and the blood to splatter all over her clothing and the interior of the vehicle. Brown looked at Rihanna and stated, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you when we get home. You wait and see." Rihanna picked up her cellular telephone and called her assistant, Jennifer. Jennifer did not answer the telephone, but with her voicemail greeting was playing, Rihanna pretended to talk to her and stated, "I'm on my way home. Make sure the cops are there when I get there." That's a smart girl. God bless her. You know? At least she pretended. My God. This statement was made while the greeting was playing and was not captured as a message. After Rihanna faked the call, Brown looked at her and stated, "You just did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you." Brown resumed punching Rihanna, and she interlocked her fingers behind her head and brought her elbows forward to protect her face. Jesus Christ. She then bent over at the waist, placing her elbows and face near her lap in an attempt to protect her face and head from the barrage of punches being levied upon her by Chris Brown. This dude a free man, my dude. Holy shit, this dude a free man. There was nobody else in that car. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not even like they arrived at a house. And then, like, you know, maybe there's more to the story that we don't know. Y'all were both in a car alone. Brown continued to punch Rihanna on her left arm and hand, causing her to suffer a contusion on her left triceps that was approximately 2 inches in diameter and numerous contusions on her left hand. Rihanna then attempted to send a text message to her other personal assistant, Melissa Ford. Brown snatched the phone out of her hand and threw it out the window onto an unknown street. Brown continued driving, and Rihanna observed his phone sitting in his lap. She picked up the phone with her left hand, and before she could make a call, he placed her in a headlock with his right hand and continued to drive the vehicle with his left hand. Oh boy, Chris Brown pulled Rihanna close to him and he bit her on the left ear. Yo. She was able to feel the vehicle swerving from right to left as Brown sped away. He stopped the vehicle in front of Redacted, and Rihanna turned off the car, removed the key from the ignition, and sat on it. What a fucking warrior. What a fucking warrior. Lily D says, so is it drugs or psycho? If it's either a combination of both or just psycho, because money will make you psycho. Money and fame will make you psycho. You see that on YouTube all the time. People get a little bit of attention and they lose their damn mind because they're out of touch. They're out of time. me out of my head when I'm not Chris Brown. Brown did not know what she did with the key and began punching her in the face and arms. He then placed her in a headlock, positioning the front of her throat between his bicep and forearm. Brown began applying pressure to Rihanna. Left and right carotid arteries causing her to be unable to breathe, and she began to lose consciousness. She reached up with her left hand and began attempting to gouge his eyes in an attempt to free herself. Chris Brown tried to kill Rihanna? I didn't know it was that crazy. I thought he popped this bitch in the mouth one time. I don't follow these celebrities. I know it's crazy to say as a black man. It's just not my cup of tea, you know? Some of these people, man, the lives they live. Brown bit her left ring and middle fingers and then released her, while Brown continued to punch her. She turned around and placed her back against the passenger door. She brought her knees to her chest and placed her feet against Brown's body and began pushing him away. This bitch is fighting for her life, dude. Brown continued to punch her on the legs and feet, causing several contusions. Rihanna began screaming for help, and Brown exited the vehicle and walked away. A resident in the neighborhood heard Rihanna's plea for help and called 911, causing a police response. An investigation was conducted, and Rihanna was issued a domestic violence emergency protection order. She got an emergency restraining order on this psychopath. Wow. This is what somebody else said. Jesus, I knew he beat her up, but I didn't know it was this. This is attempted murder, in my opinion. I had no idea. This is so wild. My God, that breaks my heart to know, man. Y'all get mixed up in shit and you don't know who the hell you're dealing with. And Chris Brown is a free man. Chris Brown is a free man. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me, boy. I don't know what more to say. These people are unhinged. This is properly fucking me up, man. If this dude had the opportunity, he would have squeezed the life out this hoe. That is not cool. I don't know what kind of little dick energy makes you want to fight a female, my dude. It's just confusing, you know? Take it from a guy that's big enough to fucking kill somebody with a punch. It's not right, you know? I really don't like the idea. Yeah, I don't want to say, you know, it's not like tooting my own horn or some shit like that. It's just, if you've met a big dude, I'm talking a dude big enough to where, you know, he could sit on a motherfucker and just break him. And just squeeze the wind out of him, crack a rib or something. Type of dude that can throw like his full weight behind a punch. You have to be so gentle with everybody. And why shouldn't you be? But you gonna fight a bitch? What the fuck? Chris Brown is not... Oh, this is not alright with me. Chris Brown is free. Chris Brown is free. Oh my God. Because they got money? Chris Brown is free because he has money, dude? Hey, that's all it takes. That is all it takes. Number 8, okay? Steven Seagal is a serial rapist and a fraud. I recommend the Behind the Bastards podcast episode on him. What you gotta understand is some of these people only make it because everybody around them kind of tolerates it. You know what I mean? Because they don't do nothing about it. I got a little bit alive the other night when we were talking about people who kind of just let people cheat and don't say anything because, you know, they make whatever excuse. Oh, it's not my place to get involved or some shit like this. But what you are doing is being complicit to rape, because if you were in a relationship and the person that you were sticking it into or getting stuck by was with somebody else sexually, you would want to know. And if you knew, you would probably not want to be with them anymore. You would not consensually want to be with them. You would not consent if you knew. And they know, and that's why they hide it. They conceal this information to deceive you, to make it so that you will want to be with them intimately. but they are aware that this information would change the nature of whether or not you two would be intimate or even together. And people who are aware of that know it too. So they know that this person is deceiving. They know that if the person were more informed and educated on what the reality of the situation is, that they would not be down for exactly what's going on right now. But you withholding that information as well, you are now a participant. You're complicit to the deception. You're complicit to the rape. What breaks my heart in the story with Rihanna just now, I don't know if any of y'all could tell me, it's the fact that this bitch was rich. But when she called out, her assistant wasn't available. We're all human. You know, we all got shit going on. We all got shit to do. But the idea that, like, okay, you calling somebody and it ain't 911, that's fucking scary. Okay. You calling your assistant, dope. But this bitch wasn't available. I like to think if I was rich, my dude, I would have the kind of conference call ability to call multiple assistants at once. If I don't want to involve the police, there's a lot of reasons for that. As a black man, the police don't got your back. You need to understand that. It doesn't matter how much money you have. That doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. Doesn't matter what kind of legal fucking, professionals you can involve, what kind of attorneys you could get on deck. Sometimes the law will not go the way that you want it to. And when it comes to certain juries, especially, these people are the most ignorant, backwards, hick morons you will ever in your life meet. The other day I was talking about how I could pull a motherboard out of a computer, put a blinking red light on that motherfucker and throw it on the street and people would think it's a bomb. That's the world you're living in. That's the world you're living in. And these people aren't dumb. They're just ignorant to things that are specific to your life. They are ignorant to you and they have the power to decide your fate. So if you can avoid jumping through certain legal hoops, you should do that. You should do that on every opportunity you can. So I definitely understand why this bitch was reaching out to her assistants. But the fact that she only had one to reach out to, and maybe she was sleeping, maybe she was busy, maybe she was in the shower, not even her fault. Maybe something was going on, you know? I'm sad that she didn't have a network. She didn't have a group of people she could call. So at least definitely one of them would have been on deck to not only try to help her as best that they can, you know, maybe you even set up some kind of GPS bullshit with your phone, you know? I'm not saying that, that was definitely something that was possible if this happened back in 2009, but I'm applying like today's standards to it. If you're rich, my dude, have a freaking network, you know? And that may be a complicated way of saying it. If you're rich, have a couple of people in a chat to where if you tapped a button, you could call all three of them at one time. And even if they couldn't do anything about it, they could definitely record what is happening over the phone so that even if you don't make it, the story will be told and the people who are guilty will come to justice, my dude. You should have called 911 if only because as soon as you get that fucking dispatch hoe, baby, they recording this shit. You understand me? So when the story changed later with the lawyer and all of this other bullshit and they making a case, but it's inconsistent, the recording will be your justice. I showed Dia a 30-year-old episode. A 30-year-old episode of The Simpsons. And you want to know what it's called? It's called Homer Bad Man. Homer Bad Man is an episode of The Simpsons where hilariously enough, Marge and Homer, they go to a convention for candy, and they just get a bunch of candy and they bring it home for the kids, and they have it so that, the kids are being babysitted. And when Homer is dropping off the babysitter, when she gets up, she has a little bit of candy on her ass. So Homer reaches and grabs the candy off of the girl's butt, but from her perspective, she looks back and just sees Homer like, ha, 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 and it turns into this whole fucking thing about how sick Homer is, and he's just a bastard, and he's going after this woman, and they spin it all out of control, and the media makes it ridiculous. And the only thing that redeems Homer Simpson at the very end of the episode is the fact that groundskeeper Willie was just in the bushes, voyeur style, recording random people, and he recorded it from an angle that shows that Homer was taking the piece of candy, just like he said. And the poignant line at the end of the episode delivered by Marge Simpson is, as long as people keep recording, justice may be served. She even says something like, the justice system may not work. The justice system may not work. But as long as people keep recording each other, Marge, as long as people keep recording each other. I want that clip. I ain't gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. I got an article here. Marge Simpson perfectly predicted the awful state of the U.S. justice system 21 years ago. This was made in 2015. So the episode's only 25 years old? 26? I don't know, man. Feels older than that. Well, the courts might not work anymore, but as long as everyone is secretly videotaping everyone, justice will be done. Boy, what a world we living in. What a world. Steven Seagal out here. Come on now. Come on now. Look, number 7, all right? Terrifying. Most people remember Rick James for his catchy, funky songs, his erratic drug issues, or the hilarious Chappelle Show sketch that Charlie Murphy, made what it was. What people don't bring up as commonly is in 1991, Rick James and his girlfriend Tanya Hijazi were accused of holding 24-year-old Frances Alley hostage for 6 days, tying her up, forcing her to perform sexual acts, and burning her legs and abdomen with the hot end of a crack cocaine pipe during a week-long cocaine binge. Give it to me, baby. He faced life in prison for kidnapping, assault, and torture, but only received a 5-year sentence and ultimately served 2 years total. Holy hell. We really made a cartoon character out of Rick James, with his titular comment in that whole Chappelle Show sketch being, "Cocaine is a hell of a drug." But I didn't know that this dude abducted and held hostage. YNK, you're a hero this day. You need to give me your PayPal so I can hit you in a different way, YNK. Cause I got some plans for what you should do. Oh, damn, baby. He almost took Stream Boss too. Damn, YNK. He almost took Stream Boss. Jesus said, go Facebook Live. Yeah, I should figure out some way to go. This dude.
SRRY.
Did he say sorry? I mean, why? You're the one hitting me. You're the one hitting me. So, first of all, special thanks as usual to YNK, the hero that I don't deserve, but the one that I need right now, Give it up for the new Stream Boss. I like to think that Tree Fitty was like, it was Tree Fitty, but the decimal point was moved. You know what I mean?
Smoke weed every day.
So he hit me with $35 instead on top of that cursed 666. You know what? We're going to have to bring back the honkler just for my man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I can't believe y'all let this man stunt on y'all. Bringing back honkler no matter what. It's as if no other gifts exist. I don't even know why I keep making it so that I have to go looking for Honkler. I should just like leave it here with the assumption that YNK will return. YNK will return. But seriously, I'm trying to pay YNK to make my life, because it's like I work for that guy now, you know. I should put, we talking about going into a coma because of drugs, my dude. This dude, the idea that you can be so cranked, that you can be so lost in whatever drug that you're taking, that you're not seeing what's wrong. You're not seeing what's wrong with keeping somebody hostage. I don't think there's anything more sobering than the distressed cries of a woman. The distressed cries of a woman. They are burning her. They're forcing her into sexual. I mean, as a man, and this is going to be the realest thing that you've ever heard, okay? As a man, there is, unfortunately, like sick pleasure to be had in taking a girl and being in control and doing what you want to do with her. But once you nut, my dude, once you see that this is like, once you recognize, potentially before goddamn nutting, that this is another human being who is not consenting to this. They do not want to be here. They do not want to do this. It takes a sick motherfucker to follow through with that. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody has urges. Everybody wants climax, my dude, but at what cost? At what cost? This is a famous dude. He could have gotten anybody. That's what pisses me off about this shit. And I consider this, and I know that all, the Bible will teach you that all sin is sin. There is no sin greater than, whatever. But in my opinion, there are different places on the spectrum. And in my opinion, even though it is gross for the idea of like a 16-year-old girl to roll up to some old man that plays a guitar and sings a song that she likes and be like, oh my God, I want to suck it and stuff like that. Dude, yes, that's wrong. She's young. She may not be capable of just putting everything in place mentally to really understand what's going on. It's not legal, right? It's not as bad, my dude. It's not as bad to me as just the complete and utter lack of consent going into somebody being abducted, held hostage, tortured. You know what I mean? Y'all torturing this bitch for fun, like that's for laughs. You burning this chick. Y'all some sick motherfuckers. You want to fuck a bitch, hey? You know what I mean? But you're rich. So you could get people that consent to this and want to fuck you because they looking for money and they looking for clout too. You're rich, bitch. I don't get it. This shit makes me come alive because I don't get it. You're rich and you can have anybody. You could stop on the street and, no pun intended, say I'm Rick James, bitch, and fly the fucking car door open. This girl will be, you could say, you can't step in this car unless you don't have any clothes on. And half of these, you know what I mean? They would just drop the fucking clothes right there and jump in the car. And you're doing this to somebody that don't want it. You're holding her hostage. It's because of the sick thrill. They need that. It's the lack of consent that gets them off. You know? And this dude served 2 years in I don't get, hey, Chris Brown walking free, and Rick James only did 2 years for abducting a bitch. Abducting her for a week. Not even like a couple of hours or a day. It wasn't even like, oh, I was high, my dude. So I went to sleep and then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you gotta go. Please don't tell nobody. And she goes to the police station, of course, immediately. And it's just like, this dude kept me overnight. A week, my dude? You know how many ups and downs that would be? This dude would need to calm down and then get high again. And calm down and then get high again. And if it's not evil enough, you have found yourself somebody evil enough to be like, hell yeah, we about to torture this bitch. Not just one person, but two. It's like when parents team up and kill their kids. It's fucked up, man. This whole list is getting too gnarly. This whole channel's getting too gnarly. No wonder I'm whitelisted. No wonder people can't find me. Oh, Y&K said my girlfriend in Florida got you. That's what I'm talking about, my man. But let me hit you back with something that you can then throw at your girlfriend. And then we can all be on the same page in the heat of the night. On the same page in the heat of the night. Celestial status. I don't know how to make it so that Y&K, is some kind of orbiting entity who has left his physical form and floats among us in the chat, but we'll find a way. We will find a way. Honk, honk. As we continue up this list, we arrive at number 6. Oh my God! Will Wheaton is the character who plays Wesley Crusher on the television show Star Trek The Next Generation. Somebody says, I was on a plane with Will Wheaton and he was sat there with his headphones on watching a movie. He didn't try to entertain all the other passengers with his witty banter or regale us with stories from Star Trek. Nothing. He just sat there in silence and politely stood up when the lady on the window seat needed to go to the bathroom. That son of a bitch. That son of the bitch. You tell me about the Patrick Stewart. You tell me about him. Tell me about Worf, you son of a bitch. That sick fuck. And you're telling me Will Wheaton is a free man? Oh, God. This list needed a little bit of levity. Holy crap. I thought this list was going to be fast, guys. Because the entries were so short. Here we are reading Rihanna police reports. And I'm educating myself. I didn't know it was that gnarly. I didn't know Chris Brown was damn near about to ready to beat the life out of this hoe. And you guys are learning something about me because as terrible as it is to admit it, at least when these young girls go running to these stupid ass celebrities, you can pretend that there's like a little bit of consent there, even though we all accept that they're perhaps not old enough to form those kinds of decisions properly. It's shit where one person is just definitely not on board for this and they force them into these terrifying situations, these physical situations. There's so many fish out there in the sea. There are so many people who would consent to these things, who perhaps even have a kink for these things. And you could find them if you only fucking farted in the direction of looking for it. But I think the sickness, I think the thrill, I think the hunger, the thirst is for people that don't want it. That's how they get their kicks. That's how they get their rocks off. Is knowing that they're in control of somebody that doesn't want this. Holy shit. Number 5. Marcus Alonso from Chelsea killed a 19-year-old while drunk driving and got off with a $60,000 fine. Well, Matthew Broderick only paid £200. This dude's salary per week was $110, and he paid $60,000 for killing a 19-year-old. You have to wonder if the parents were even fine with that too. My God, dude. Drunk driving, bro. Drunk driving is A-okay apparently if you can just throw money at it and make it go away. Throw money at the problem, it'll go away. You can be a piece of shit and drunk drive all day. Holy no. Number 4, Boy George. Oh boy, we already know about Boy George. Boy George, man, handcuffed an escort to a wall and beat them with a metal chain. As far as from what I've heard about Boy George, that is not even the worst of it. That's like him on a Sunday after exiting a church. You know what I mean? Maybe this is how he acts at church. Somebody else writes, this is what I was going to come in and add. It goes beyond that. He had the guy chained to a wall and was about to sexually torture him with objects. But the guy managed to break free and escape. This wasn't rough play. It was attempted straight up Gacy shit. He was just incompetent and it got a slap on the wrist. Should I throw in some more jokes? Should I make this a little bit more waka waka? Every time that I've ever dealt with serious things on a list, YouTube's like, hello? We're taking that video off the internet, okay? It was too real. It was too scary. The children that we have watch your channel did not like it at all. And I'm like, why? Why are you making children watch this channel? What are you doing? I indicate everywhere this is not a kid's channel. And they're like, well, you know what? Listen. You know what? You listen to me. We're going to hide your channel more than it's already hidden. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Also, Trump ads. Do you like Trump? No. Trump ads on your channel. You fuck. Damn, YouTube, chill. No, I get my rocks off from the fact that you don't like it. Do you consent? No. Good, that's better for me. You should have said yes. I'm YouTube. And if you consented, then I wouldn't be interested. I can't get it up unless you say you don't consent. Damn, YouTube, you say you can't get it up unless I say I don't consent. Unless you say you don't consent. Unless I say I don't consent. Unless you say you don't consent. Can't get it up. Shut up and continue with the list, my dude. Number 3. Karl Malone, an ex-NBA player, oh my god, impregnated a 13-year-old girl while he was, okay, well, I don't know, man. I was going to say while he was 20 in college. I don't know, man. 13 years old. Here's what I have to keep telling y'all. I've done some traveling around the world, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you there are 16-year-old girls walking around that are more developed and more womanly than a lot of the 20, 24-year-old bitches walking around the streets these days, especially when it comes to assets, okay? They're not just tall like an adult woman. They are full-figured, bountiful in the breast department, fucking bodacious in the hips department. These chicks, these girls are women in appearance. But where, oh Lord, my God, you gonna go looking at no fucking 13-year-old with her 2x4 looking ass. Get the fuck out of here. Ariana said, this is starting to feel like the pedo Olympics. Like, how low can you go? For real. 13, my dude. Y'all trying to hit single digits? What you mean? When did this bitch start perioding? Like that day? What you mean? And you nutting in it too? Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't defend any of this. We don't need to be reading this stuff. I'm sorry, YouTube. You know, there are a few times where I have to admit, I don't know what the hell I'm reading. You're in the NBA. You're in the NBA. What the hell? No. 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 Kyle wants to try to understand. I can see if I'm 16 or 17 years old and I'm messing with a 13-year-old. But not when I'm 20. No 13-year-old girl has anything for somebody who's 20. Why are you doing that? It's because you're into that. You're into that. "13 years old. And as the comment said, it's worse. She gave birth at 13, which means in all likelihood it was 12 when it happened. I'm not sure what's worse on this list. That police report fucked me up because I never knew that it was that extensive as it pertained to Rihanna. Chris Brown should not be free. Rick James shouldn't have been able to be free. But this dude's free? You know? Can we please look into him right now? Is that sweet titty Aime in there? How many times has Marilyn Manson been on this list? They've started talking about Steven Tyler. That's what I thought this whole list was going to be about. Is Karl Malone in jail? He escaped the charges in college after impregnating a 13-year-old girl. Karl Malone was fittingly nicknamed the mailman because he always delivered? He went on to join the NBA. Of course he wasn't in it at 20 years old. This kind of stuff just confuses the hell out of me, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just release it. I can't think about stuff like this. Because we know it goes on, especially in Hollywood, you know? We know that some parents will subject their children to this kind of abuse for a handout in the way of financial compensation. They will let their children, they'll pimp their children. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. They will pimp their children. Here we are. Number 2, John Travolta refused to give his son his prescribed epilepsy meds because Scientology doesn't believe in mental illness. And as a result, the son died. Someone responds, is a neurological disorder like epilepsy even considered a mental illness? My stomach's starting to bubble up like something's trying to climb out of me, you know? Oh my God. Aime says, oh no, I grew up with Manson's music bears. Big fan since the age of 10. Very well aware of him admitting to abusing fans, girlfriends, and his ex-wife. I'm sure everybody with any manner of musical clout is abusing all of the groupies that are lining up at their stupid ass door, but at the very least we can pretend that there's a modicum of consent involved because they came. You know, when we see stories like this where it's like, hey, take this medication. It's like, hey, why don't you get abducted by me and then stay with me so I can beat you and then burn you and stuff like that. What the fuck is this? Oh, I remember now. Sorry, I was at the top of this list earlier when I decided to read it this morning. And I must have voted these before they reached the top. I'm glad they're at the top because Steven Tyler's gross, and I hope we can find more information about this. Let's read this. Steven Tyler, number 1, got custody of his 14-year-old girlfriend so that she could go on tour with Aerosmith and they could be together. Let me read it again. You understand? Steven Tyler got custody of a 14-year-old chick, meaning this bitch too young. So I'm gonna approach the parents, you understand? And be like, hey, can I get custody of that kid? This is kind of like Woody Allen, like adopting a girl that he wants to be with. You know, it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross. And the parents consented to this. If I could stay awake just to mess with 14-year-olds, watch you smile while I am creeping. Let me groom that sexy sheep and... Sorry. Gross. If I could spend my life... Stop it, Kyle. You better stop. You better stop. Somebody says it gets even worse. They wrote better at first, and somebody was like, what do you mean? What are you saying it gets better? Don't you mean the opposite? Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. It gets even worse. She got pregnant when she was 16. According to her, it was a planned pregnancy. He told her, I'm so sorry, like this is in me now, and I'm gonna have to play some serious video games to get this out of my brain, because as I'm reading just the number 16, I'm thinking, oh, well, at least she's not 13 years old. What a terrible thought, because of the shit that we're reading tonight. What a thing for me to actually read. Anyway, it gets worse. She got pregnant when she was 16, and according to her, it was a planned pregnancy. He told her that he wanted to start a family and propose. Oh my God. He then changed his mind and forced her to get an abortion. After the abortion, they found out that it had been a boy, and suddenly Tyler felt guilty about it because he'd always wanted a son. Years later, he began speaking out against abortion, lying that it was an accidental pregnancy and that the GF had been pregnant and gotten an abortion before. The GF was forced to speak out in her own defense. Who do we believe? You know? Because we already can't believe this creep that targeted a 14-year-old. It's that simple. Now he's reinvented himself to be a champion for neglected and abused teenage girls, and he opened a shelter called Janie's House. It would be one thing if he admitted to crimes, or admitted to his crimes, and was doing this as a way to make up for it, but nope. He fancies himself a guardian angel to vulnerable girls without ever acknowledging that he himself abused a vulnerable girl. I'm really sorry for this list. You know, I like to keep it lighthearted around here. You know, I like to dive into some deep shit, but I kind of like to roadblock those deep things and make it damn clear that viewer discretion's advised. And I would like to say the types of things that I usually dip into are kind of like squeaky clean enough for YouTube. You know, you've heard me narrate things before that YouTube was like, no way, can't stay on this platform. And I'm like, fine, whatever. You know, people read shit like this all the time. It's not a big deal, but I guess coming out of my mouth is just different, and that's fine. But this was a lot gnarlier than I expected it to be, because real life is like that, you know? It's the kids, dude. This list had it all. It had people messing with the kids. It had parents consenting to their children being used. It had people killing people and getting away with it. What a star-studded list. Rockstar buys Crackdown 2 developer Ruffian Games. What? Rockstar, why? I don't know what to go into there. What a letdown Crackdown 2 was. But what kind of business move is this? What do you give a shit about what do you give a shit about no Ruffian Studios? What do you give a shit? Oh, of course I've lost it. Like I came back to the page and it's just gone. Oh my God, whatever. Oh, Juicy Titty Aime says, I think there's a documentary about that too, and a book. Documentary about what? Oh, Manson? Believe it or not, nobody mentioned Manson. I don't know what the hell was going on with that guy, but it was really all about people killing people in their cars because they drive drunk. It's about people abusing, and it's crazy because in my opinion, when these people target these very young girls and then try to court them and groom them and get them for them and then mess with them, but then kind of get bored with them as they age, you can tell that it's always been inside of them the entire time to just specifically be into these little girls, my dude. It's weird. It is weird. But I think of all of the things here, I am most alarmed by Rick James. That's crazy. James and his girlfriend, Tanya Hijazi, were accused of holding 24-year-old Frances Alley hostage for 6 days. There is no high that lasts 6 days. Y'all ain't trekking through the goddamn Amazon on some ayahuasca or some shit like that. Y'all ain't DMT tripping, and it was like you were in another dimension and your body was controlled by realms outside of this fucking reality, my dude. You got high on crack, came up, went down, and then went back up and came back down, my dude. You had the opportunity to snap the fuck out of this when you heard the distressed cries of this bitch. It didn't matter if she was duct taped or not. A woman will make some noises that will scare you. One day, and I hope it never happens to any of you, but I'm just letting you know there's a strong likelihood that one day you guys will be near a woman that shrieks in a way where your mind, your body, and every cell inside you will know something's not okay. Wherever that noise just came from, shit ain't right. Somebody's dead. This bitch is trapped, like beneath something. These women have the ability to let some noises out. On many occasions on my travels have I been minding my own business when I heard something, and I've never felt so strong a primal urge to dash to the source of this fucking noise to aid whoever the fuck is, you know what I mean? Just reach inside your ass and be like, what the fuck is wrong now, my dude? I don't know how people they'd have to be into it. They'd have to be into distressing another person to be fine with it. Rick James got music. Just like I said earlier in this list, it doesn't take away from their craft. It doesn't take away from what they're capable of. Some of these people are directors. Some of these people are musicians. And the things that they produce, they're talented, in that field. Doesn't make them any less sick. This was a crazy list. How exciting. How wild. Have I really been doing this for an hour? Did you know that Jennifer Tilly was involved in the Chucky movies, guys? That's the thing that I like to do now. Oh boy. I hope you guys have a fantastic night and that things make a lot of sense. Special thanks again to Y&K. Hope you guys have a really fun evening going into the next day. Know about Steven Tyler's daughter, Kyle. It was just him. It was the whole band. It was the whole band abusing her. Okay. Pretty titty, I may please. I can't hear these things. I can't hear these things. Tiffany 2 says, what travels did you experience such shrieking on? All I'm gonna say, man, is because unfortunately, with some of the things that I admitted in my youth, I know I put myself on a list. I wouldn't call it a watch list, but I'd definitely call it a listen list. I'm sure that there's at least one robot just screening some of the things that I put out on the internet to make sure I don't mention anything gangster. So before I wouldn't call it incriminate myself, but I don't want to put myself in certain places. I'm just going to say that there have been plenty of scenarios where I have unfortunately have to, like a tryhard, white knight is what some people might call it, to defend, people defend women from would-be attackers. And the worst part about it, dude, is that in retrospect, I am forced to admit, you can't just get crazy in a scenario when you don't know what the hell's going on. When you arrive in the midst of something, you don't know what happened before. You don't know the context. And it's very necessary for you to have the context. But sometimes when you see somebody in front of another person about to do them harm, when they're already in a compromised position, whether they're on the floor, whether they're terrified and they're backing up and they're scared and they're shaking, whatever it is, you know what I mean? When you see somebody about to just give somebody that work, maybe you want to stop them because it's done. You know what I mean? And here's what I'm going to say. If you've ever heard me give commentary while I'm watching a fight video and I start saying shit like, it's done, he's sleep, you know what I mean? That's when it's time to stop. Sometimes you can fight a motherfucker. You need to get that shit out of your system. Both of y'all really riled up and you really got to let all of that testosterone out. Do what you need to do. Get some therapy, hit that climax. This is better than sex for you, whatever it needs to be. But don't step over that motherfucking line and reach a point where you're going to kill somebody. When they're on the ground, when they're twitching, you know what I mean? When they are compromised, be done with it. Be done with it. And I've been in scenarios here and overseas where I just stumble into some shit, baby, where people about to take it too far. No, I don't know the context when I stumble into a situation, but when I was young and the blood was hot and I wasn't thinking about liability, shit, it is what it is. It is what it is. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Most of the rock stars in the 70s, the majority of them are basically pedos having sex with young girls. You have to wonder if some of them, you know, only became rock stars for this specific reason. Here they go again on their own. You know what I mean? No, that's not a good joke. No, whatever. All right, whatever. I want to take a risk and open up this not safe for work post that says, oh yeah, of course it's safe for work. Why do they make it seem like even just extending a little bit of cleavage makes things not safe for work? Y'all a while. And I'm tired of it. Titties are not safe for work. Justice for titties. See you guys later. Have a great night. Take it easy. I'm gonna go. Oh yes, special thanks to YNK. Message me, YNK. I'm your biggest fan. I hope you guys don't math your way into figuring out what the goal is. I don't want that. I'm gonna put this guy right here so nobody can enjoy. Okay? No, he's too small. That's wrong. All right, guys, take it easy. Love you. Take care of yourselves. That's Amber Heard in the thumbnail, by the way. I'm pretty sure that she was like ridiculous with Johnny Depp. So in case anybody didn't know, now you have heard. Get it? Okay, bye.